Yep, you see by the title of the video that this is not clickbait. No, there is certainly a huge problem with WrestleMania 37. WrestleMania 37 will be taking place on April the 10th and April the 11th, which will serve up as a two-night event, just like last year's WrestleMania. But there's a problem with this year's WrestleMania. We're like, as of the timing of this video, 2 to 3 weeks ahead before WrestleMania begins. And as of today, March 15, 2021, as I'm looking at this on Wikipedia, there are only 2 matches that are already announced for WrestleMania. And that is Roman Reigns or Daniel Bryan taking on Edge for the WWE Universal Championship. And then for the SmackDown Women's Championship, Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. Not only have they ruined this feud between Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, and for the Universal Championship, sorta, but they have no plans of what they want to do for WrestleMania. This Sunday night, March 21st, 2021, is WWE Fastlane. Let me remind you what the match is on this card. We have Big E versus Apollo Crews for the Intercontinental Championship. But we have Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan, where Edge or Jey Uso will be the special guest enforcer, and this match will be for the Universal Championship. But then, for the Women's Championship match, you have Nia and Shayna defending it against Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. When they could have used this time for Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair to go at each other to build up the WrestleMania match. No, let's just have them team up against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. When you have Roman Reigns, who, let's be real, should be feuding with Edge right now, as much as I love DB, this feud is really for Roman Reigns and Edge. They could be building it up. Edge and Roman could be going at each other, cutting promos on each other, attacking each other, and all that stuff. But no. Because think about this, guys. March 21st, after Fastlane, we're going to be at least, again, 2 weeks away from WrestleMania, and there's only 2 matches announced for the show. Now, the reason why I say that this is a big problem for WrestleMania 37 is because WrestleMania is WWE's flagship show event. It's their biggest event. It's the show of shows. It's the end-all, be-all. It's stuff like this is what makes you want to be a part of the WWE. What makes you want to watch WWE because of stuff like WrestleMania. So many moments happened at WrestleMania, and now for 37, and it sucks because this is actually their first show with fans. Like there's going to be fans in the arena. Now, it's going to be a limited capacity, but it's not going to be like last year or the Thunderdome or anything like that. Like, there's actually going to be real live fans in the crowd. Like, you're actually going to see these wrestlers get a real reaction. This is supposed to be special. You would think that they would really make this WrestleMania really special, but when there's no build and you're waiting 2 weeks to start to build up your show, that's not good. What I think they should have done, you could have still had Elimination Chamber in February and then take the rest of the month of February, the whole month of March, and then use that as build for WrestleMania. Use that to announce some more matches, build up the shows, get the shows up and ready. That way, when WrestleMania happens, the feuds are hot, the crowd is pumping, everyone's excited. But it's like you can't really get that much excited with WrestleMania because there's not that many matches happening. And then another problem with WrestleMania is that this is not like it's one big show. It's 2 nights. So what's probably going to happen at WrestleMania, you're probably going to get the main matches like, again, the 2 matches I just said. We're going to get probably Shane versus Strowman. There's probably going to be a multi-man. IC title match. But really, despite the championship matches, probably the rest of the show is going to be filler, to be quite honest with you. And then the Raw Women's Championship might not get defended because Asuka's still injured. She's out with the concussion. So it's just like, man, it sucks because you have to put in build. This is your biggest show of the year, and you're treating it like it's a filler pay-per-view. That's not good. That is not good. So WWE Fastlane, and you've heard it all over the wrestling community. Fastlane, and I still will do a video about it because it's still a pay-per-view. But it's a pointless pay-per-view. No. What's the point? Fastlane. Like, what's the point of it? You know what I mean? Because, like, again, you could have used these weeks to build up towards WrestleMania. You didn't need to have a pay-per-view. You just didn't. I don't like when WWE has their pay-per-views and there's no build towards it. Like, let's go back a few months ago, actually. Let's go back to Survivor Series. You know, Survivor Series, and I actually said it, and it was a pretty good, decent event, but the problem with Survivor Series was that there was little to no build whatsoever. That's the problem with a lot of these shows, that there's no build. How am I supposed to get excited for a pay-per-view, especially when, again, it's your biggest show, it's your biggest show of the year, and there's little to no build towards it. And then if you even look at the feuds, like I said, with Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, they're not even really feuding. They're just tag teaming it up. They're just talking about how, oh, I respect you and you respect me and we're going to have a great match. No. They're just literally feuding with Reginald, who, let's be real here, is a pretty good cruiserweight, but doesn't need to be a part of the storyline. Reginald should not have no influence, no involvement with the Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair storyline. The only time I would allow Reginald if he's like with Sasha and he's like managing her and she's a heel. And then with Roman and Edge, you know, Daniel Bryan getting in the mix, and what will probably happen, Daniel Bryan, he's going to lose, but Edge might get involved in the match, and then we're going to get Edge versus Daniel Bryan versus Roman at WrestleMania, where Roman will go over, but Daniel Bryan will be the one taking the pin. So it's just crazy how this is back in business. Finally, we're back in business, yet there's really nothing business about the show because we have nothing but 2 matches. Like, come on, man. You gotta, come on. That's not cool, in my opinion. That's not. So anyways, guys, that's the video. That's just me. I really wouldn't say this is a rant. It's just me talking how it's just not cool how this is a big problem, basically, is what I'm trying to say. That WrestleMania 37 is a big problem, not because of the poster, not because of what's happening on the show. It's because that there is no build towards the show. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm glad you enjoyed the video. Tell me in the comment section what are your thoughts on WrestleMania 37. Subscribe, like. This has been the Kid DC Wrestling, and so yeah.